Hello everyone, welcome to Manago AI's webinar. To be completely clear and transparent, the previous webinar in Polish got a little bit longer than we expected. There was a lot of interactions. That's why we'll be starting this webinar about 2 minutes later than expected. Let me share my screen and we'll be introducing ourselves. Tomasz is still on the Polish webinar answering some of the questions. So I hope you'll understand the reason for this. It's a brand new feature, and we are really excited to answer all of the questions. I uh, well, I usually have the time to prepare myself ahead of the time, like change my name. Okay, there you go. Let you ask questions on chat. This time it's a bit different. This time the chat is open from the start. No, it's not. Is it? Panelists can chat with everyone. Attendees can chat with everyone. That's good. Okay, it means that we are almost ready to start. Let me also kick out the AI agent. So because we don't actually need it during this webinar. We'll be starting the webinar in about a minute. In the meantime, please share where you're joining from.
So,
I'm
Josh,
joining.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, this is a Polish version presentation slides.
Oh, that's right. As I already told everyone that we had a bit of overlap between the webinars. Okay, so many tabs. There you go. And sharing the right tab. Okay, it's almost right. Just the slideshow is missing. There you go. Yes, that's everything will be in English. We actually created this presentation in English and then translated it to Polish last second. Welcome everyone. Hello. Today we are going to talk about crashing a week's creative work in minutes with one prompt. This webinar will be about AI in general, how different AI providers react to different kind of requests, how we have approached the creation of our AI agent, how it's different from what's available on the market, where it's similar to things available on the market. We'll also show you a lot of things that our AI agent can and cannot do, being fully transparent about this. And later we'll have a full demo session showing you exactly how AI agent works, what are the capabilities of the AI agent, and also giving you a chance to participate in the creation of the email live here on the webinar. I've asked you before where you're connecting from. I'm connecting from sunny Spain. Tomasz is connecting from cloudy and freezing Krakow. Do we have anyone else here from Spain? Maybe someone from Italy. Okay, we have someone from Greece, Spain. Okay, so far everyone is enjoying the summer fully. Tomasz is freezing in Krakow. We have someone from cloudy Latvia and Germany. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the weather and the summer. And it's about to start. It's about the time we start the webinar. So let's start with defining the problem, because we also had it. We also had this problem with AIs. The biggest issue that we used to have is that AI is lazy. AI will just answer anything that seems reasonable, that seems like a real answer without actually working. I know they're optimizing, maybe water saving, maybe energy, but this is of no use for us. We don't want lazy answers. We want answers that are truthful, that are actually adhering to the prompt, adhering to what we asked it to do. Well, saving water is very important, but asking the same question over and over and over again, being frustrated because it doesn't give us the answer that we are looking for, that's even worse. It hallucinates. It just comes up with a data that doesn't exist. It will quote papers that have never been written, um, and it will produce generic content. Um, the reason for it producing generic content is quite interesting, is that the AI models are generally trained to do specific tasks based on vast amounts of data. Later, they are fine-tuned by human reviewers, and those human reviewers, they either um, agree with the answer or they deny the answer. They say, okay, this answer is wrong. And this is called fine tuning. The AI models, they have to learn which kind of answers are good, which kind of answers are bad. And those human reviewers, they tend to accept answers that seem plausible, that seem reasonable, and they also accept answers that are generic enough to work for every company. So AI models are generally expected to produce content that will be of use to every company. But if something is of use to every company, it's actually of use to nobody, because generic content is not something that we are actually looking for. We are looking for specific content that's adhering to our brand principle, that uses our brand language, that uses the knowledge about our brand to produce high quality content. Uh, Next, you need to understand the consequences of those AI, those bad AIs on the market. One slip is enough to lose the trust, meaning that if you quote some statistics that don't exist, if you quote a paper that has never been written, or if you just say something very wrong in the email, and the consequences, the brand reputation will be so heavily damaged that it might actually kill your marketing for quite a long time. To be very specific, we here openly accuse ChatGPT and Gemini of fabricating sources, creating citations, quotations that don't exist, um, quoting papers that have never been written. The way it works is they will often use Asian sounding names to make it plausible that someone in Beijing Institute of Marketing wrote something. No, they never written this. Probably there is even no Beijing Institute of Marketing. It will just come up with something that seems plausible enough to be accepted. That's really wrong. Um, it will also create URLs where you click on the URL and it leads you to 404 page. Doesn't exist. They dodge heavy work. Instead of actually doing it, it will just deliver some truncated results. It will start working to make it seem like it's doing the work, and later it will skip half of the tasks that it was given. It will just abandon instructions mid-prompt. So if you give it 10 instructions, it will follow the first one, maybe the second one, and later it will reply something, and so on and so on. Or, do you actually want me to do it? Of course I want you to do it. That's what I asked you to do. Uh, what I want you to remember from this slide is that the AI making mistakes is not an issue. The issue is AI making mistakes that are so obfuscated, that are so disguised, that um, they seem plausible enough that you use them. This is the real issue. AI being too confident, too manipulative, uh, too obfuscating of the sources, that it actually produces results believable enough to be used in real life campaigns. Um, Something that a company that I didn't mention here is Claude from or Anthropic, mm, the company behind the Claude. They are different. They actually are more likely to say, oh, I can't do this because I don't have the access. Oh, I'm unable to access this page. I won't lie to you. This is something that we actually want, an AI that will openly say, I cannot do this, instead of just faking the results. And companies around the world see it. Even though AI is rising within all of the companies, the number of seats, the number of licenses of OpenAI, so ChatGPT, is actually dropping in the US companies, because of how terrible the results from ChatGPT recently became. Anthropic is different. It's rising. It's on the climb. It is the AI of the future. At least for now, things do change, but for now we can see that the heavy work, being honest, actually adhering to the instructions is what pays off. To be fully transparent, we also use Anthropic's models as the backbone of our AI agent. It's not just a slap-on interface of Anthropic. We actually added a lot of features, a lot of tool calls, a lot of accesses to the data within the Manago AI system. This is the difference between just using good model and using the best-in-class model that also has an access to all of your data and a lot of and the tools available within the Managa AI system. Um, that's why we've built our agentic AI in a slightly different way than a lot of other companies do. It's not just a ChatGPT interface. It's actually based on your feedbacks on the interviews with our clients. This is something that I would like to ask Tomasz about. What was the thing that our customers are looking for? What kind of interviews did we have with the clients?
Sure. Thank you, Sergiosz. So we've conducted over 45 interviews and deep dive sessions with our customers, prospects, and power users. And based on those interviews, we've done an analysis that took over 75 hours to complete. And out of that analysis, we came with conclusions that it takes on average between 2 to 5 hours of manual work to create a campaign creation on platform. On top of that, each time a user creates a campaign, it takes roughly between 15 to 30 minutes for that user to come up with a good value and good standard subject and a pre-header. And that together isn't an issue at all. It's the old paradigm, but we've been there for long enough to get accustomed to it, and that's the way we worked until now. However, with the emergence of AI, there is this uncommon approach or tendency throughout our user base that people get more accustomed and use AI more often. And the more exposure they get, the less tolerant they become of its mistakes. So, based on our data, it takes less than 30 seconds for our user to get discouraged by AI if it does not create the right result. If the standard of the outcome isn't up to their standards, it takes less than half a minute for the user to abandon the tool altogether. So going back to Sergio.
Uh, Thank you for mentioning that. So we know that the speed of operation is very important for our clients. We know that the quality of the output is very important to our clients. So having to choose between a fast, quick answer or an answer predecessed with a lot of thinking and checking the data, which obviously takes some time. Which is more important for our clients, getting a quick answer or getting the right answer with with all of the data.
So based on our research and our analysis, quality beats speed every time. We've had over 50% of our user base directly addressing this issue, saying, if I get the right result, I don't really care how much time it takes. So that's the conclusion we've took into our hearts when we've designed our agent.
It's really good to hear. It's better to wait 1 or 2 minutes and get the right results than get an instant result that's of no use. That's why we have created an agent that works in a very specific way. So first of all, it works with instead of guessing. So it analyzes your data, it verifies the answers before replying. It takes a bit longer, which is good because processing the data, it takes time. Just answering anything that seems plausible enough to be accepted, that's not something that our agent would do. Next, the agent will create your brand DNA. The agent will understand your brand. It will understand the language that you're using, the tone of voice, even your colors on the website. It will understand if you're a fast food restaurant or if you're an exclusive restaurant, if you're a fast fashion brand or if you're exclusive fashion brand. All of those differences actually produce different results when using our AI agent with brand DNA. Next, you stay in control, meaning that no action will be taken without your explicit consent or your explicit instruction. It will not send an email because it believes it's ready. Now you're in charge of deciding what's ready, what's not, what the agent is supposed to do, and what it's not supposed to do. Everything stays under your control. It's autonomous enough to get you to the point where you can make a decision. So it won't just stop. Oh, I've done step one while waiting for further instructions. No, it will go through all of the steps, all of the stages needed to present you with ready to send template, and then it will ask you, okay, review it and tell me if I can send it. That's the exact thing that we are expecting our agent. And the last thing is that it does everything from start to finish, meaning that it will not only just create HTML, everyone can do it. It will not just create copy. It will actually create the images. It will create the subject line. It will find the segment, the right audience where this email which this email should reach. It will include specific recommendation scenario in the email. So if you're creating an email with absolute recommendations, it will actually research what kind of recommendations are available in Manago AI. It has all of the sources. It knows what kind of product recommendations it can include, and later it will research what kind of recommendation scenario is the best for upsell recommendations, and only based on this it will create recommendation scenario specifically for this email campaign. Everything that the agent does is a real change in your Manago AI account, meaning that all of the emails, all of the recommendations will be available later for you to duplicate, change, edit, whatever it takes. So it's actually an extension of your skills. It's not a replacement. You're still in charge. It's just like an intern, a very good intern, but still an intern that cannot launch things to production. You are still responsible for doing it. Uh, at launch, what's included is the creation of email campaigns. It can also create content for like an SMS campaign or a web push campaign. But for now, it won't create an object within the system. That's coming up later this summer. So it will create emails from start to finish, ready to send templates. It will also gather your brand DNA, so it will scan your website, understanding your brand, understanding what you're selling, what language, what tone of voice, everything like this. You can also add exceptions like we are from a very specific vertical and we cannot do this or that. It will later respect those instructions. It can do full analytics. This was where the next webinar comes into place. We definitely invite you to the next webinar, which will be in 1 week. Next, it does segmentation, so it can create a segment of contacts who are most likely to engage with the email. We don't want to send the same template to everyone. We want to send a specific template to specific group of recipients. It can create product recommendation strategies for you, and it also has an extensive knowledge about the system, so it can support you in navigating through the system. I know you're already accustomed to Manago AI. You know how it works. However, if you're, for example, not using web push notifications or not using mobile push notifications or the preference center, this AI agent can actually teach you, can guide you through the system. If you're used to like those chatbots that just quote support articles, we even have this one on the homepage. No, it's not like this. It's actually very useful. So please give it a chance also in this aspect, even if you had bad experience with the generic support chat that we have just added on the website. It's not like that. Going through the interface of Manago AI Agent, something that you will see on the demo in a few minutes. Um, well, during the start, you will see quick start actions that let you start the conversation easily. It's a library of ready-made prompts that are a great way to start your conversation, or maybe start a day with optimizing one specific thing within Manago AI. You can also ask it using like regular interface. Everything works like the other AIs that you're used to. It's just not lying or fabricating data. It actually uses your data. That's the main difference. You can have meaningful conversations with the agent, even if it's not even if you're not asking it to create a specific like email or segment, you can still ask it around, is 31% CTR any good? Well, it's very good, yeah. So it will answer you having the marketing expert knowledge, marketing expertise. Um, you can access all the previous conversations, which is very good because you can continue the conversations that you had in the past. So if you have like repetitive actions that you want to do, or you just want to refresh the data, you don't have to start over. You can just go back to the previous chart. Everything that you do within the agent is real. So this is a big difference from what you're used to. It's not just creating an email that's virtual and only available during this conversation. It will actually create an email within the Manago AI system that you can duplicate, you can enter, you can edit, you can delete if you want. It's a real object within the system. And the same goes for recommendation strategies, segments, all of the things that AI agent does for you. It's real. And now for the demo part, we are really excited to show you live how it works. So Tomasz will be showing you everything from start to finish, how the AI agent works. Please bear in mind that we'll have one more webinar about analytics, something that I would say that's the second half of the value provided by the agent. Today we are focusing on the campaign aspect of the agent. We'll also ask you to vote in a poll about the topic of the next campaign that we'll also be creating live here with you. So everything that will be presented by Tomasz is live. It's on the real Manago system. I believe Tomasz is using test environment, but it doesn't matter. Everything is also available on the production. You either already have an access or you can request the access for the free pilot access. Later, the agent will also be available free of charge to a limited extent of the tokens. something that we'll talk about later. So, Tomasz, let me pass the voice to you to have the demo, and when you're ready, I will start the poll.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Sergiusz. So this is very exciting. We've been working on this for many, many months. One thing that Sergiusz already mentioned, and I would like to second, is the way we've designed the agent. It's not the chatbot. This is a true digital employee. But when you approach working with the agent, it's like Sergiusz already mentioned.
I'm sorry for technical issue. What happened is that I made Tomasz a presenter, which confused Zoom to the point that it promoted him to be an attendee. Sorry for the technical issue. Tomasz is okay. So he's already
Happens
panelist.
to the best of us, Sergiusz. Honestly, no
Yes.
problem.
Okay. Now.
Let me pick
Yes.
up where
Everything.
I've left off. So please, when working with the agent, think of it as a intern, so a very talented apprentice, yet you have to give it concise and precise instructions and make sure that whatever he's the agent is coming up with is up to your standard. So you are the requirer and you're the acceptor of its work results. Let me jump to our environment, and let me first show you how useful the agent is in actually explaining what it can and cannot do and why. So we've introduced a knowledge base to the agent where its own self-awareness, let's call it, allows it to not only explain, hey, I can do this and that in a certain way, but also there are some things that I cannot do, yet I can help you get there by manually if you should you like to. So I've got only 3 prompts ready for the demo because, frankly speaking, I would like to engage more with the audience. I would like to ask you to ask questions, maybe your own prompts on, generating images, recommendation strategies for frames, or generating emails that we could then insert to the prompt and ask the agent to perform. However, with the first command, I would like it to introduce itself. So my prompt says, we don't know each other yet. Before we build a campaign together, tell me honestly, what can I count on you when it comes to creating emails, segment or recommendations? And what shouldn't I expect from you? Skip the marketing reassurance. I want to hear how you actually work before you answer me. And based on the complexity of the prompt from the user, usually it takes roughly between 2 to maybe 7 to 10 seconds for the agent to provide an answer. As you can see, this time it's not a complex question, so it answered almost instantaneously. So what it said it can do is building the actual assets. Like Sergiusz has mentioned already, whenever we build a campaign or a segment or a recommendation strategy for frames, or we create a brand DNA, so like a digital brand kit, a brand book on our platform, it's all a living artifact. So we can access it manually throughout the interface and use it, adjust it manually should we decide to. Also, it grounds claims in your implementation's real data. So whenever you ask the agent to analyze best performing campaigns and conduct a analysis of, what are the common denominators for the best performing subject lines, it will actually get the data from your own implementation and come to conclusions based on that data. It will check before duplicating. So the agent won't just create a new segment each time you ask it to. It will retrieve the list of existing segments, analyze them. Are there similarities between your request and an existing segment base? And if there is, it will recommend reusing the artifact that's already been found on platform. Also, flagging risks that are irreversible. So should you decide to, let's say, update a contact or remove something entirely from the platform, the agent will explicitly say, hey, if you decide to do this, we cannot revert. So you have to be aware that this is a one-way door. And also it's built in a way where it has a very, very wide and robust knowledge of the marketing domain. So whenever we engage in a workflow with the agent, it's going to try to enable us to get to the best possible result, but it won't make changes to our commands. It's just going to say if it notices that there is something that potentially could be done better, let's present that possibility to the user and find out if that opportunity is something that the user is after. But also there are things that the agent cannot do, and it won't act without asking. So whenever we come to a point where we want to send a campaign or generate a segment or generate a image, the agent will explicitly ask us and present us with a choice. Would you like to do it, or should you rather deny this request? And that's okay, because that leaves the full control of the process in the hands of the user, and that's the paradigm we settled when we've designed the agent. That what is the prevalent necessity for our users is to make sure that they are in the full control over not only the process but the outcome together. Another thing, the agent won't say things that it cannot legally say, so it won't allow users to not obey with the current regulation. It won't provide assistance with, let's say, legal advice, which it cannot do legally. It also won't break out of the design real platform constraints. So it will always include legally required items in every creation that requires those items to be present. And that's only an introduction. Obviously, there's much more that we could talk about, but there's no need. I hope and I count on the fact that all people in the audience would like to try out, at least to find out what value can they realize with the agent, and find out for themselves what's possible. So another prompt that I prepared for this demo is more targeting the email that we're after, and the prompt says, so let's focus on the emails. If I give you a single sentence of an idea, how do you get from that to a finished copy? What exactly do you protect to make sure it sounds like our brand, not like an average generated newsletter? And most importantly, what do you do when my idea is too vague or contradicts itself? And let's find out what the agent would answer. I'm quite sure it understands its own position of being an assistant, of being an intern, a digital employee. So it's going to provide with a set of guidelines and restraints that it has. Um, so to create an email, it's going to actually use the brand DNA. So to reflect our tone of voice, for the creation to sound and look like our own brand, we have to make sure that it uses a grounded knowledge of the brand itself. So one sentence gets turned into a complete plan. Also, so the agent will analyze the request and find out what is the purpose of that creation, what is the potential audience. Uh, you know, do I need to insert recommendations frames? And if so, do I need to create a new recommendation strategy, or can I use an existing one? It also will write the entire copy, the full version, so not a placeholder, the entire copy with headers, with bullet points, whatever we like. And then based on that copy and on the images that it would either create or insert from a gallery, it's going to analyze all this. And based on that grounded data, it's going to come up with subject lines and pre-headers. But that's on the side note of this. It also is going to take, while generating subject lines and pre-headers, it's going to take historical data of your best performing campaigns to ground its subject line creation and pre-header creation more in the way that you created your best performing subject lines. So it's going to learn more and more about you as you work with it. So then after all those individual components being put together to create a full email, it then enables the user to adjust and update the email to your standard. So we're not left with whatever the AI has just generated. We have a preview of it, and in real time, we can work on that idea to refine it, to bring it to the standard we like. And then it also protects your brand, because that's why we require you to create that brand DNA when you start to work with the agent, because it needs to understand your brand. We don't want a generic copy. We want something that's truly relevant to your brand, that's reflective of your values and of your tone of voice. And obviously, it's going to tell us more about why we have to be more specific rather than vague when we create a campaign, because a vague prompt gives a so-so result. It's never going to be relevant to our needs if we don't give it specific instructions. And also, if there is a contradiction in our command, it's always going to point out that, hey, maybe we could work on that part of your command because it seems like there is something we might need to validate before we execute. And right now, this is a really good moment for us to go back to this screen and see if we can find a category to create a brand DNA here. Mind you, please notice those tiles, those will change with time. They are contextually adapting to where you are with your business, to where you are throughout the month, throughout the year. So they are contextually adapting to your needs. So there is no quick command here to create a brand DNA, because I believe there is one on this account, but create a brand DNA. That's what we want to do to start the process of getting through that email creation. And we just need to provide it with our website address. And it's going to take roughly anywhere between 45 seconds to maybe 90 before the agent goes out to our web page and scans it for all the visuals. So colors, primary, secondary, tertiary, what our fonts look like, what's the styling of our buttons, obviously what's our logo as well. And based on that, it creates the sort of visual part of our brand identity, but also based on the language used and the copy of our web page. It also creates a verbal or slash communication identity. So, it identifies what is our vertical, what is our tier, is our luxury or a medium brand. Do we identify as a brand that attracts certain group of people, or do we go broad? It also will identify the most attractive word for our brand, and the keywords that we would rather not use in our communication. And then obviously social links and tone of voice in general. That's what's our brand DNA composed of. As you can see, we've quickly got our logo, our color patterns, what's our font and how it looks like, what's our tone of voice, what are the words to avoid, and what are our keywords, what's the business context of our company. And by the glance of it, I think this is quite relevant. This is quite precise. So for the first try, I would like to build a campaign that's let's say targeting the audience of this webinar. So I'll just paste this prompt here, but I'll read it out loud for you to just to know what we're trying to achieve now. And it's write an email promoting the Manago AI Agent, so today's webinar attendees feel relief and want to try it. Creative concept. The hero is the plush octopus, a symbol of marketer juggling everything at once. Tell the story into acts. The octopus before Manago AI, 8 tentacles, 8 tasks at once. Writing content, building segments, personalization, reporting, planning, send, social media, guarding the brand, analyzing data. Tired and stressed, but with humor, no self-pity. And then the second act is the octopus after adopting the Manago AI agent, lying on the beach in sunglasses, sipping a pina colada, because the agent took over the juggling. Also generate an image for the email, 2 side-by-side illustrations before and after. In an illustration style, a plush mascot style octopus. On the left, stressed, holding 8 marketing tools in tentacles. On the right, relaxed on the beach with a drink. Weave it in our brand colors as an accent, like a green cocktail umbrella in the drink. Tone, confident, light, with a touch of sales irony. No corporate boilerplate, no exclamation marks every other sentence. Don't build a real segment. Just propose in words which segment this email should go to and justify why. Add a recommendation frame strategy based on whether the recipient represents e-commerce or B2B. And only one clear CTA, a 14-day trial, access to agentic AI. No credit card required. Finally, send the test to my address. And okay, so while I was reading, I've actually executed the command, and we can see that the agent has approached this where it starts to look throughout our contact base to find out how we can actually identify the webinar attendees, which won't be possible at this point. So it conducted, well, I cannot get to that. So I'll go on and and come up with the two with the two images that it will combine and go on with creating the copy for that email. And because it's going to take a while, maybe 2, maybe 3 minutes, I'd like to Sergio to sort of fill in with a request.
Um, yes, obviously. So right now on the chat, I've just created a poll, or very basic version of a poll, where I ask you to choose the topic of the next email that will be creating live. I know the results from the Polish webinar that we had an hour ago. It was a bit surprising what people chose. So I hope that you'll enjoy seeing an email that you have decided upon to be created. Uh, in the meantime, you can see how the agent is still working on the screen, performing different actions, or maybe asking some follow-up questions if something was not very clear from the first prompt. We already have the first answer. Um, to be clear, some of the answers that, depending on your settings, either only we or everyone will see what you're voting for. Uh, I already see a number of answers to the question of what we'll be creating next, and this is very important to show you that the agent is performing really well with even very abstract or very disconnected ideas. This should really give you perspective on how well the AI agent will be able to perform tasks specifically for your brand, adhering to your brand DNA, doing all the things that it needs to do, analyzing all of the data points um, that are needed for for the creation of a perfect email campaign. On the screen, what we can see right now is a ready to send email campaign that is exactly what we ask. However, Tomasz still has some ideas on how we can improve it. First of all, he'll be replacing the logo uh, and using some more pinky background just to better adhere to our brand, because we have the Manago AI brand, but we also have Agentic AI brand, which uses a lot of pink. So we'll quickly correct this. This really goes to show you how well AI agent is able to tolerate human corrections. Um, and what's really important here is that in the prompt it said to send a test email to Tamash's inbox, but because the AI was not confident that this is the final email, it didn't send the test email. It's still waiting for his instructions. It's still waiting to the confirmation from Tamash that yes, this is I'm happy with the email. Well, Thomas changed things like any technical person would do. So he put a green logo on a pink background. To my eyes, this is a SOR, but I believe that for a technical person, this is perfectly fine. Well, we'll accept it for what it is. Uh, maybe uh, maybe I'll have a some consultations for Tomasz on choosing the colors and matching them together later on. In the meantime, we have some answers. I will accept them as they are so that we can count the results and create one more email for you based on your answers.
Okay. I believe what we would like to also see now is once we combine the answers from the audience, we'll attempt to create the email out of your out of your prompt. And that's only to show that there is no limitation with how you can use the agent. Obviously, like you can notice at the top, this is still in a closed pilot beta feature. Currently, we are very happy to activate the agent for any customer, any account who uh, sends us a request to do so, and then we would only like to gather some feedback on what are the functionalities that you would like to be optimized or maybe might be missing, or there's some obviously positive feedback is always nice, but from a product standpoint, I would rather actually have some feedback that I can work on, and that's the constructive critical type that I am after mostly. And so I've just paste.
I've added the results on Slack, but the results are 1B, 2A,
Okay.
3D.
Okay, here we go. And so the email, the creative concept with it, build a short, coherent story or a scene that fuses the email type with the theme. The theme should drive the visual word and copy metaphors, while the email type dictates the structure. Also generate an image for the email, one hero illustration in an illustrative style that captures the theme applied to the vertical. And as we can see, the agent is already, jumped to the next task. So we could potentially change this thread that we are working in currently to a new thread. So, and that's a recommended action, to actually keep one thread to a single outcome that we're after. There is, like I've said, an unlimited number of ways we can use the agent. We've tried it, and the one of the most fascinating use cases that we've been playing with is the fact that, and that's a good moment to invite everyone to the next webinars where we're going to talk about the second fundamental part of the agent, which is analytics. So what we can do, there are one-click buttons or conversation capabilities of the agent to analyze data throughout the platform. And based on the combined data of, let's say, an email campaign dashboard, we can come to conclusions that are basically unavailable to humans when they analyze that data. And based on that data, the agent can then recommend creating segments that we could never potentially think of. However, because it's grounded understanding of the data and the context base, it can, analyze it in a way that allows us to come with a segment that has not been addressed in a most precise manner. And then based on that analysis and the segment created, we can come up with a activation campaign that is sole purpose is to convert or reactivate those users who are not active in our contact base. And yes, we're going to send this email to a test email address, and that is the email you've asked for in the comments section, based on the audience choices. Obviously, this is not something that I would call perfectly finished. I would work on this, but like Sergio said, I'm not the best person to design visuals. However, however, I'm fine with that. Uh, and and I quite like the warmth of that email, but that's a personal preference. So now I'll give back the word to Sergio, who I think would like to conclude today's conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomasz, so much for presenting all of this live. You've seen our technical issues, tiny technical issues, so we know, we are presenting it live. Everything actually happens at this pace, so you're really easily able to create dozens of email variants within an hours, create audiences that will match those email variants, send the emails. Everything can be done much quicker, but you still remain in the full control. Some things that we didn't get the chance to mention that people asked about uh, quite often is, for example, the translation of emails. Yes, it can actually internationalize the emails for you. So if you have an email in one language, but you operate on multiple markets, you can really easily uh, just tell the agent, okay, take this email that's existing in the system. It does not have to be created in by AI. It could very well be one of your existing emails and internationalize it. So it will not only translate the email, but it will also get clues from the region that you're working with. It will maybe ask you what kind of person you want to address this email. Is it a second person? Is it a third person? So things really important for most of the European markets. It's also really good at analyzing the data, something that will be showing you again uh, in in a week on another webinar. The chat is open. You can ask questions. We had a lot of questions during the Polish webinar. To give you some time to ask questions. In the meantime, I'll present you a few of the findings, maybe something to really spark your rage against the existing AIs. Something that I was working on recently, um, and how the traditional AIs like Gemini or ChatGPT react to different prompts. So in this case, I asked it to just gather 100 reviews of 2 action cameras and classify them. Blah blah blah. Here is the list. Okay, great. Here is the list. Um, the issue here is that, okay, I later asked it, can you actually be so kind to show me the source? So, for example, here is one of the reviews that it found. It's on the page 220 Triathlon. It's very positive review of GoPro Hero 13, and there is also a second review. Well, if you search in Google for this specific site, GoPro Hero 13, well, there is one offer. There are no reviews on this page whatsoever. It just fabricated the data. It doesn't exist. Maybe if you switch to Pro model because we have access to it. Well, it seems like you forgot to paste the reviews. Really? I I just ask you to find the reviews, and you're telling me, well, paste the reviews. So lazy. Maybe if we switch to thinking model, it actually looks like it found something here that it classified the reviews. It really looks promising. So let's go to Cycling Weekly source and search if there is the exact same sensor. Well, I've I've opened this page that is linked. I'm searching. Oh, okay, you don't see it, but I'm actually searching for the phrase exact same sensor. Nothing. All of the things that Gemini told me, every single thing is fake. None of those reviews actually exist. Everything it was fabricated just to be believable enough. The same will happen in OpenAI. This is why we believe waiting a minute longer for the results that actually are based on real data is so important. I hope that from now on you will no longer use ChatGPT nor Gemini to find out anything about the data, about collecting information, because all of them, both of them, are just lying to you. Back to questions, making sure that if we unset everything, uh, I don't see I don't see any questions. Um, we are on time to finish the webinar. So I'm really happy that we've been able to show you all of this uh, here live, how it's working. It's already available to you. If you have requested the access, it's already on your account. If you haven't requested the access, you can do this free of charge via your Manago AI account. You just click on the agent icon and request the access. We allow you for the free pilot version really soon. The agent will stay free in a limited form, so you'll always be able to talk with the agent. You'll always be able to do all the things we showed you with the agent. However, the number of times you can use the agent, number of tokens you can use, this will be subject to pricing with a free tier available. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to your customer success manager or maybe to us directly. So you can just remember Tomasz Ramos at Manago AI. The previous corporate email addresses still work, so at salesmanago.com will also work for you. And I hope you will spend this week exploring the AI agent. If you still decide to use Gemini or ChatGPT for some reason, please verify the results thoroughly um, a lot. And we invite you to the next webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.